All right. So, I've never really done anything with the world of Avatar that isn't Last Airbender, but that's going to change today with this what if scenario of could the Catachan jungle fighters take over Pandora? That's the big question we're going to be asking ourselves today in this video. Is it possible that the great jungle fighters of the Imperial Guard could come down and take over Pandora? The short answer is kind of yes. I think. I think we can all agree. Like the short term, like the short term answer, yes. At least I think so. But we're gonna go into the. This video would be kind of boring if I didn't explain and kind of show my work in some capacity, right? So we're gonna talk about could the Catachan jungle fighters take over Pandora? The world from Avatar, and the franchise that everyone forgets and also makes billions of dollars through means of I don't know how they do it. I don't know how that franchise, the two movies we've had, made billions of dollars. I don't know how it's possible. They're not I saw the first one. I remember seeing the first one. I was like, yeah, the 3D was cool, and it did jumpstart the 3D trend that was awful for a while. At the same time, though, I was like, it's just Dances with Wolves or Pocahontas with aliens, And then the second one I watched on Disney Plus not too long ago and went, what was the appeal here? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So yeah. So for this scenario, we're just going to use the Catachan jungle fighters and no Space Marines. No other Imperial Guard. It is just them. It is just the Catachan jungle fighters. So let's talk about why I think the walking embodiment of 80s action movies could go in and conquer the world of Pandora. Basically, Pandora is just the pussy version of Catachan. If you've seen Catachan, you know it's like the definition of fuck this place. Everything there wants to kill you. The plants, the animals, the plant animals, even breathing in the wrong spot could kill you because you'll just inhale some bacteria that'll rot your insides. Literally, that planet is so dangerous. That planet is so fucking dangerous that when it got invaded by demons, the wildlife ate the demons in a matter of weeks. That's how fucking terrifying it is. There is a lot of speculation, and I think some of the older codexes support this. Is that some of the life forms are of Tyranid origin. I don't know if that's still considered canon, but I believe it. Anyway, so yeah, the life expectancy of a Catachan jungle fighter, when the people of Catachan was if you could make it to 30. You were considered old. That's how dangerous that planet is. Yeah. So, Pandora's a walk in the park. Right out the gate, Pandora, to them, is just one big walk in the park. They are just going to, look at this planet and go, this is what gave people problems? Fucking Cadians. And if you know your Catachan lore, you know that's not a compliment. So, the people of Catachan are just walking 80s action heroes, and they're going to see the world of Pandora and basically be like, this ain't shit. This ain't shit. This is a vacation spot for us. Now, the different species of aliens and terrain is much it's a very, tropical, very dense area, and there's other planets, granted, we haven't seen on the world of Pandora. There are other tribes, but fuck them, I don't care. There's different terrain and whatnot, but again, Catachan is used to not only living on a death world for all of their lives, they're also used to being thrown into the worst situations. 90% of the time, if you have a world to conquer or defend that's considered a death world, the jungle fighters are going to be like, fuck yeah, let's go. For the sole reason of, we don't want to live on Catachan anymore. So The jungle fighters are just going to look at Pandora and just be like, they're not even going to use a lot of body armor. They're just going to be walking around like the guys from Predator and just carrying big fucking guns and just be like, fucking pussies. The other thing is that the wildlife there, while all of it is dangerous and the very air is hard to breathe in for most humans outside of certain areas, yeah, that doesn't matter. On top of that, these guys are used to not eating a lot. Like, these guys can go for like weeks or days or weeks. In some cases, like it's just a month even without a lot of food. These guys know how to ration their food so they can just stay in a long, drawn-out war. Not to the level of like the deathcore of Krieg, but like these guys are built on stamina. On top of that, what's it going to be like when they encounter the Na'vi? Let's actually talk about that. Let's get to the point where we talk about the Na'vi. The Na'vi, they're bigger, they're stronger, but they don't have the same kind of tech. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, but they beat the humans in the movies. Yeah, because a lot of those humans, they were using what you would consider like a little more advanced technology. But you're dealing with an Imperial Guard that literally lives off of too angry to die. And God help the Na'vi if Sly Marbo shows up. If you don't know who Sly Marbo is, go read up on him. He is the embodiment of how the fuck did you live past first edition? Anyway, so these guys, the Catachan are used to also having these guys are used to this kind of this kind of environment to the nth degree. They're also capable of guerrilla warfare, much like the Na'vi. It's not like with the military, whose name I forget because it's, again, this movie. Literally, information of this movie leaves me every second. It's not like the military forces there, who depended on, straightforward, we're going to hit you tactics. The difference with the jungle fighters is that they embody guerrilla warfare, much like the Na'vi. The Na'vi depend on, not really going into a full-on invasion. It's more like, we hit you, and if we get drawn into a big battle, we'll just fight you with all the powers of nature. See, the jungle fighters may lose. I will admit that maybe the Na'vi and how they fight would probably throw the jungle fighters off their game maybe the first few battles. If Catachan jungle fighters get deployed there, they're going to get, surprised and whatnot because they're going to realize, after a few battles, like, oh, they have some kind of power over the animal life there, or connection to them. Cool. So now we're going to play real dirty. They are just going to learn hard and also learn fast to essentially just do hit-and-run tactics. Wherever they're going to be following the Na'vi, they're going to be studying them, they're going to be keeping reconnaissance, and also doing, these hit-and-run tactics to learn how the Na'vi connect with the wildlife there, and then they're gonna start fucking shit up. Like, I don't know, blow up trees, or set fire to a whole valley of animals. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. Fuck you, Xeno scum. In the name of the Emperor, we're gonna set you on fire. Yeah, because that's how the Imperium. That's not just how the jungle fighters roll. That's how the Imperium rolls on a whole. So. Yeah, it's not like it's also, and again, I know I've been harping on this a lot, where the human forces in that attacked Pandora, they were all like soldiers who weren't really equipped for these kind of long-term battles. That's why they had mech suits and different kind of vehicles to combat this kind of this jungle career. You have a race that has been on a planet like this, several other planets like this, and arguably much worse. Now, granted, like I said, a lot of the jungle fighters are probably going to get killed. Let's be real. If you just send these guys as the only forces to take Pandora, it's going to be a long fight. Like, I imagine, sending only the jungle fighters to take Pandora, it's going to be like a good 5 years of war. And admittedly, they are better at jungle fight, at guerrilla warfare, and long drawn-out battles are more of the Death Corps or the Praetorian Guards kind of deal. That's not their deal. But also, you have to understand that the jungle fighters are also good at sabotage. They're also so they'll probably sneak into a camp, put a bomb there, and blow up like a nursery or some shit. Why? Because again, fuck you, Xeno scum. That's why. That's just how the Imperium rolls. It's brutal. It's no rules, and yeah, there's no rules when it comes to anything that isn't human. I'm sorry to say, it sucks. It really does. But yeah. Anyway, so I do think the jungle fighters would have a time of again, the Na'vi would probably throw them off their game several times in the attack, in the war. But at the end of the day, I do think that these guys would be, because again, they're not going to just go down there with just guns and whatnot and gusto, because granted that's good enough. At the same time, they're also going to be coming down there with heavy tanks. They're probably not going to depend a lot on aircraft. The Catachan don't really depend on aircraft a lot, unless it's low flying and more for transport than anything else. They depend more on, move fast, hit hard, and then fall back. And yeah, they're gonna I imagine the Na'vi would probably take out a good number of them, along with the wildlife of Pandora itself. At the end of the day, though, they're just going to be like, these guys are a bunch of Cadians. Again, that's not a compliment. Anyway, so there you go, guys. You guys tell me in the comments below, do you think the Catachan jungle fighters could take over Pandora? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.